Hello chaps and chapesses, and this week we're going to talk about how to hitch a micro salmon fly. Hitching has got to be one of my favourite ways of trying to catch salmon on a fly. There's just something about it, it's so incredibly exciting. And I know that we have covered in the past on this channel how to set up for a hitch. But while I was in Iceland this year on Laxa I Kjos, I took the time to sit down with my guide, Benny, and actually go through some of the fundamentals of hitching and try and demonstrate it on the river. So without further ado, let's switch over to the river and hear Benny's thoughts.
So tell me about hitch fishing. What is it that makes hitch fishing so incredibly exciting for you?
It's the visibility. You can see completely everything. And if you get the take, then you know it.
It's the visual element, isn't it?
All the time.
So what are the key things, when you're talking to clients about how to hitch, what do you reckon the key elements of hitching are?
It depends on the water speed, where it's flowing, the current, how it's acting, and it's all about line control. And you basically can't hitch it completely. You just have to know it and see it, how it works, and then you can make some changes. It's all about how you see the fly hitch over the fish to irritate him.
There's lots of different theories on how to control the speed of a hitch.
Yeah.
Are there any particular ones that you use?
Yeah, raise your stick high, and if you need to, you have to drag the line also, if the current is slow. The key element is that your hitch is not sinking and not going too fast. You don't want bubbles around it because it's going so fast. I don't know why, but it seems to make the salmon turn away.
I still don't really understand why a salmon will come up and take a tiny hitch fly like that.
Me neither, but it seems to work on him. It makes him furious when he sees it. He goes after it to grab it, or he kicks it away. Either way, it's all the time visible. You can see the whole thing. That's what makes it so exciting.
Guiding in Iceland particularly, you've got such clear water that you can actually, as a guide, you can see much of this interaction. Crystal
clear most of the time, almost all of the time, except if we get a hard rain. Size of a hitch sometimes really matters. We think that the finer we get on the surface of the water could be even better, but then again, it could be even harder to control, because if the V is so fine, you might not be able to see it. If you're casting far away from you, it's kind of like trusting that you have seen what it works, how it works. Test it out in front of you so you can see it. Test out the speed, how it works, and then just trust you're doing the same thing when it's far away from you.
So what size of flies do you use when you're hitching?
Not bigger than size 14. I like most micro hitching, and recently I took up just using a single hook, double hook. Today I'm not using so much triple hooks. Jumping fish.
Fish just jump behind you.
Oh man, good.
So we're setting up a hitch tube fly, and this is how you do it.
This is a micro hitch, really small one. It's completely blocked in front, got holes at each side. And what we do, we put our leader through it at the side and in the back. There you go. So it will be facing like this in the water, making that extra fine V we would like to see after the hitch is going over. We're putting a small single hook at the end. There we go. And then we drag the hook up to the hitch, pull it, you see, it's a little bit inside. And that's how it looks like. With the hook facing down, and that's how it's supposed to cruise over the pools and make a small V on the top of the surface.
We know there's fish, which is probably rumbling around on the outskirts of that current because we've seen them jumping this morning. So I'm going to go in and put a hitch tube through the top and see what happens. Just raising the rod up, keeping that hitch running along nicely over the top. It's running through that current very nicely, just hitching through the little gaps. The problem with hitching is once you've hooked a salmon like this and you've seen a fish come up and take the fly off the surface, it's incredibly difficult to go back to actually wanting to catch fish in any other way. It's so exciting that you just can't help yourself, that actually you'd rather spend hours fishing this method, even though in some cases it might not be quite as effective, although actually here it is very effective. It's just watching that take off the surface. It's something truly special. So to keep, and there's a fish jumping right there. So we know they're there, and I know that they're probably sitting on that current there, that current line. And it's just a question of being persistent. They'll see that fly inching down towards them, and it's just going to be just gradually irritating them. Until hopefully one is irritated enough to want to try and hit it. Just got to keep that rod nice and high. Lengthen off another 6 inches of line, just gradually working my way down along that vein. And as it slows down, that's when you start to drag the line. Keeps that hitch popped up on the surface. As Benny says earlier, you know, you've just got to have faith that that hitch is hitching as you see in front of you. There's no way you can see what it's doing from here unless the back of the pool is quite glassy. Like all salmon fishing, you've got to be methodical, try and cover the water. With hitch fishing, you have to be particularly methodical because sometimes that fly's got to go over the fish multiple times before it's actually going to take. Just using a little single-handed spey caster just to pop that out there. It's much less effort than overhand casting. And there's another one just jumped right here off the edge of the current. Plenty of movement going on this morning. It still absolutely defies me that a fish can see a fly this small, but they can. I find often by just holding my arm up in the air and just get a bit more height, just keep that fly traveling in a nice arc. I've got a nice angle going on there. I don't want to cast too far downstream because otherwise I'm not going to get that hitch moving. Swinging round nicely, hitching along the surface. And then when it slows down, that's when I put one hand up and I start to draw the fly just to maintain that speed. Lift the rod at the same time. Just maintains the speed of the hitch so you can continue with that nice silky wake that we're looking for. In that slower water I can actually see the V-wake of my micro hitch tube. It's coming across very nicely, just like a little motorboat from after. Just want to put a couple of hitches through the tail and then we're probably done here. And we'll move down to the next pool. Water's slowing down towards the edge there. I might just put one long one down to the end of the pool just to know that I've covered it to the best of my ability. Just hitch across the tail. Sometimes if you get a fish which is popped into the pool, as it's running, it'll rest on the lip for 2 seconds. It'll be quite susceptible to a fly. Put the fly halfway up the rod, run the lead around the back behind the reel, and we're done. get in and hitch this properly, I need to get nice and low. Oh, yes! Whoa! That was a cracking take. Just on that little micro hitch tube. Not happy fish. Just off the edge of the rock down there. Just came up, nozzled it. No, we don't want to go around that rock there. Lovely grills. No, I don't want you in there, I don't want you in there. Oh, he's got me wrapped round a rock. Come on, out you come. Oh, he's rubbing me. Come on. You're back out in the main pool. There we go, that's better. Much happier about that. Oh, a man with a net. Come on. It's not quite done yet. Yes! Thank you for being the man with the net. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I love salmon fishing in Iceland. There's nowhere else where you can catch salmon on like a centimetre size hitch micro tube and get them to come up and take it off the surface like that. It's absolutely incredible. Oh, I'm still just shaky. I hope this camera's steady. I'm just so overexcited. Wow, what an experience. That was absolutely fabulous. I suppose we better go and see if we can do it again. Yeah, let's go and do it again.
As always, I hope you found that video useful. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.